Guys, welcome back to Southern Extreme TV. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on my channel. Today we've got an awesome product review, the DNT Hydra in a 640 resolution thermal scope. So I am super excited to bring this review to you guys today, and I just said that this is the DNT Hydra 640 resolution thermal scope. However, that's a little bit of a loose term because this thermal is actually a scanner, a scope, and a clip-on all in one package for essentially right around that $2,000 price point. That is unheard of. The way that the industry is trending and the technology behind these thermals in today's market is just absolutely incredible. So I was really excited to get my hands on this Hydra just to show you guys kind of what it's about, do some testing, where I think this scope will fit into the industry or to the market, and then potentially why this optic may be the best choice for you guys, and how you can potentially grow with it. So with that being said, let's dive into the box. Now, before I get too deep into it, the optic is not in this box as of right now because I've actually got it on a gun already, and I want to show you that gun here in just a second and kind of talk to you a little bit about it. So in the box is very simplistic. You get an eyepiece that goes onto the optic. You get two 18650 batteries, a cleaning cloth. You do get some paperwork about some warranty information and instruction manuals. I left that out because really and truly that stuff's just kind of boring if I'm going to be honest. So let me show you what the actual optic looks like. This is her, and you guys are looking at this correctly. This is mounted on top of a shotgun. This is my Beretta 1301 competition with a 24-inch barrel. If you've kept up with the channel, you guys know that I have been wanting to try to figure out this thermal shotgunning, and I'm really trying to dial in the exact recipe for the type of shotgun, the stuff you need to put on it, the ammunition, the optic, all that stuff in between. And this Hydra fits really, really well on this gun. However, it would also fit really well on the rifle. For what I'm going to be using this optic for, I'm going to be using it on this shotgun, hopefully when I get this shotgun build completely done. So again, I mentioned that this is a scope. Obviously you see it mounted onto a shotgun. One thing that I really like about this optic that is a little different than some of the others out there is it has a 1.5 base mag. So it goes from 1.5 to 6. It's got a 35 millimeter lens on it, and to me that is a good thing, because again, this scope is not designed to be shooting really and truly 500, 600, 700 yards like some of your really, I'm going to say, your top tier thermal optics on the market that have built-in LRFs, built-in ballistic compensators or calculators. This is not really what this scope is designed to do. I would say that this scope with a 1.5 to 6 base mag is designed for that kind of 250, maybe 300. 300 is probably touching the edge of its range, in my opinion. But let's just call it that 250 and in. This is where this optic is going to shine. And the reason that I really like that low base mag is because I mentioned earlier that you can also use this as a scanner. So the reason that that's a big deal is the majority of people that get into the thermal hunting world, one of two things happen. And this is just a very broad generalistic assumption, but from what I've seen, this is what generally happens. You start out with a very entry-level optic, which is like I would say this DNT Hydra 640 is, and then eventually you decide that you want a little bit more, you want a couple more features, and you decide to invest more money. Whereas some people, they get it right the first time. Very few people just jump in with 2 feet. And then some people, they do the exact same thing, and then they say that the thermal night hunting is just not for them, and they sell everything out and they stop doing it. The reason that this is a big deal, because this gives you the ability to where if you buy this as a scope and you decide to make that next step up, you can also utilize this as a scanner. So whenever you make that next purchase for that new, potentially a better scope on down the road, you've got the Hydra sitting here that you can use as a scanner for when you're going out. Or the other cool thing about this, if I can get this thing set right here, you can also take this optic and you can set it on top of a upper like this. So this is a Palmetto State Armory complete upper, and I've got an LPVO optic. And basically the LPVO, what that means is it's got a lower base mag. Typically you see this style optic sometimes on a shotgun. Mainly you see it on those AR platforms for kind of close combat, close quarter shooting situations. You can actually take this Hydra and you can mount it out in front of these LPVO sights, and you go into the menu setting and you can change it from scope to clip-on mode. And basically what that does is it'll eliminate the internal reticle in this thermal, but will allow you to utilize the reticle that is in your LPVO with the thermal image. So that's a really cool deal. The only thing you got to make sure of if you utilize that is you do need a full length Picatinny rail up on the top of your handguard. Now, this one right here from PSA, it does not have a full-length pick rail. However, it does have M-LOK slots up top. So if I wanted to add a small section of Picatinny rail here that this Hydra could go on, I could very easily make that happen. And the reason that that's a big deal, obviously it just checks a lot of boxes. But then let's say you buy, maybe you buy a new scope, or maybe you buy a second thermal. Now you can put this onto this firearm here, and now you have something that your buddies can go hunting with you. You're not going to have the scanner because obviously it's going to be mounted on this, but it just crosses a lot of T's and dots a lot of I's for the hunting and nighttime shooting world. The eye relief on the DNTs are arguably the best eye relief optic in the thermal world that I have seen, other than the iRay RH50R. The iRay RH50R, its eye relief is really, really well, and I would argue that the DNTs may be slightly better, which is the reason that I fell in love with these things for the shotgun platform, because with a shotgun you're going to get a lot more recoil out of it than what you would out of, say, a typical AR-15 or even an AR-10. So having that added distance from to get that optic farther away from your face, it just makes it a little safer for that recoil, so you don't get hit in the face by the optic. So really excited about this scope. 640 resolution, 1.5 base mag. They do make this Hydra, I know they make it in a 384 resolution, and I think that they make it in a 250 resolution. However, once you start getting down into that 250, 384 resolution, they start increasing the base mag. So I think the 384 base mag is maybe 2.5, and maybe the 250 resolution is like a 3X. And once you start dialing in on that base mag, it starts making it a lot more difficult to utilize on a shotgun. Not saying that you can't do it, it just makes it more difficult if you're trying to shoot stuff that's running through the woods. I would rather have that larger field of view. And then obviously too, whenever you're utilizing this as a scanner, that wider field of view with the 1.5 base mag is going to be really, really nice. And that's the reason that I really fell in love with the 640 version, because it has the 1.5 base mag, it's the 640 resolution, it's got picture-in-picture, it runs on 18650 batteries. So if you've already got a scanner, or maybe you've already got another scope that runs on 18650 batteries, this scope, you'll be able to utilize those exact same batteries to make this thing function. Another really cool thing about this, if you are somebody who spends a lot of time out in the woods, those 18650s, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still not 100% sold on the 18650 format. I do like the fact that you can buy those 18650s relatively anywhere. They're really inexpensive and easy to come by. The issue that I'm running into with them is the battery life. When you're out and you're running multiple sets in a night and it's cold out, you can eat through some of those 18650 batteries. But with this Hydra, you do have the ability to plug up an external battery pack so that if maybe you only pack two 18650 batteries, maybe you didn't plan on hunting all night long, but maybe they're running good and then you decide to hunt all night, you can obviously have a battery pack on your weapon, whether it be on a buttstock, in your pocket, on your tripod, out here on the fore end, and you can power this scope without an 18650 battery even being installed on this thing. So that's a really nice feature that DNT thought of as well. I will say that the Hydra, in my opinion, versus the DNT Thermite. So if you've done research on DNT, you've probably seen their Thermite lineups, which is a night vision, digital daytime, digital night vision, as well as a thermal with a built-in LRF. The one thing that I like about the Hydra in lieu of those Thermites is the button layout. Up on top of this Hydra, you have 4 buttons. You've got a power on button, you've got a photo or record button, so a single click takes a photo, click and hold down takes a video, and then you've got your main menu settings or your menu button, and then you've got your zoom in and zoom out. So it is a continuous, or I guess a staged zoom cycle. So from 1.5 to 6, every click of the zoom button will take you into a different stage. And if you zoom in one time, you do have to zoom all the way through the entire zoom cycle to get all the way back out to that base mag. So that might be something that's a little bit of a negative for you guys if you're planning on utilizing this in some close quarter shooting situations where you're anticipating that you're going to have to zoom some. You just note that you do have to zoom through that entire zoom cycle to get back out to the base mag. But as I mentioned, this does have a picture-in-picture feature, so having that PIP should hopefully eliminate the need for you having to zoom very drastically. One thing that I do like about the picture-in-picture on not only this DNT Hydra but the DNT Thermites is you can move that picture-in-picture anywhere you want in the display screen. The majority of thermals out on the market, the main picture-in-picture is directly centered and directly up above your main reticle. With this, you're able to move it in the top left corner, top right corner, in the center. You can move it around. Some people might like it in a certain place where it doesn't look quite as busy. So that's one really cool feature that they've got included onto this DNT Hydra. I am blown away. This is a really, really nice optic for the money. Again, we're talking about a 640 resolution optic for around $2,000, 1.5 base mag, all the way goes all the way out to 6X. The one thing to note about this, I would say if you are wanting an optic that you are probably going to be shooting beyond 300 yards, I don't necessarily think that this is probably the right step for you. I think you would probably be better off looking at a more dedicated thermal scope that is designed to do that type of stuff. Where this Hydra is really going to shine is, again, like I mentioned earlier, that 250 yards and inside, it's really going to do a great job. It's going to be an awesome way for you to utilize it as a scanner, utilize it out in front as a clip-on with an LPVO optic, or you can even do like me and you can put this son of a gun on a shotgun and have a really, really slick little setup right here. The one thing, talking about things I do like about it, just want to brush on the Hydra versus the Thermite. The Hydra is going to be substantially lighter weight than what the Thermite will, which is one reason that I really liked it being on a shotgun, because again, with the recoil that you're going to be getting, the lighter weight that you've got out here on these Picatinny rails, the less damage, or I guess not the less damage, the less brutal that recoil is going to be on that pick rail. And obviously with it being lighter in weight, you've got a smaller, slimmer profile. It just makes for setting up on a shotgun a whole lot better. And then obviously setting it up on just any type of gun, it's just gonna make it look a little bit better, and it's gonna be a little more streamlined versus being bulky like the Thermites kind of look in comparison to the Hydra. But to be honest with you, I really think they knocked this little bitty optic out of the park. They've thought about everything. I think that I've went over just about everything I could as far as the pros and the cons. The only con that I've got is probably the zoom cycle. And for me, utilizing it on a shotgun, I'm probably never going to actually zoom this optic at all. It'll probably always stay on its base mag, but if you plan to put this on some type of rifle, that zoom, stage zoom, is the only thing that's a little bit of a negative. But I think some of the AGMs out on the market have that same type of zoom cycle where you have to go all the way through it to get back out to the base mag. So really awesome optic. The price point's fantastic. They offer a great warranty for the money that you're investing into this. Warranty is not quite as good as what the AGMs or the IRAs or the Pulsars are. I think you only get maybe a 2 or 3 year warranty with the DNTs in lieu of a 5-year warranty with some of the other manufacturers. However, to get a very similar optic in a 640 resolution from those other manufacturers, you're probably going to have to spend about another $1,000 at a minimum, if not another $1,500 to $1,800 before you start getting the same resolution that you're getting out of this DNT. So if the $1,500 to $1,800 is worth it to you to spend extra just to have that peace of mind for an extra 2 to 3 years of warranty, then maybe that's one thing to consider. However, with the affordability of what the Hydra lineup is, having that 2 or 3 year warranty, I'm not concerned about it at all. And again, arguably, I've been testing the Hydra as well as the Therm Night Out in probably some of the toughest conditions with shooting it on these shotguns, because the recoil and the abuse that these scopes and optics are going to be taking on a shotgun is probably going to be way more abuse than what any of the other scopes out on the market are going to be taking, whether they're being ran on a bolt gun or a semi-auto platform. So I don't have any issue standing behind that. I really believe that this DNT is going to hold up because it's held up with us so far. So great optic, very well thought out, very simplistic. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. If y'all are looking for this optic or an optic very similar to it, go check out Southern Precision Outdoors. They're based out of Georgia. They've got a huge inventory of thermal and night vision optics. Let them know that Southern Extreme TV sent you over there, and they're going to take care of you guys. I should have a link down in the bottom of this video that will take you directly to their site, that will take you to either this scope or to the DNT lineup of optics as well. If you guys have a question for me, drop a comment down below. I will try my best to answer it if I forgot to go over anything. If I don't know the answer to it, then I'll try to track down somebody who is a lot smarter than I am. But man, I've had a blast shooting this thing, and I've had a blast showing it off to you guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are trying to grow this family to 100,000 subscribers, so every click gets me a little bit closer to that ultimate goal. Also, share this video on Facebook. Facebook deleted my personal account because I was sharing gun videos and gun media. So make sure that you share this video to your Facebook profile and tag Southern Extreme TV in it, because right now I can't access the Southern Extreme TV page because Facebook deleted me. So thanks for that, Mark Zuckerberg, or however you pronounce your name. But we're fighting. We're going to try to get it back, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys on Facebook pretty soon. But thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys on the next episode.